Our convocation speaker today is Sandra Phillips Rogers, a member of the class of 1991. Ms. Rogers is Group Vice President, Chief Legal Officer, and General Counsel of Toyota Motor North America, where she also serves as Chief Diversity Officer. Before joining Toyota in 2012, she worked at Pfizer and was a partner at 2 Houston law firms. Ms. Rogers is a member of the Law School Foundation's Board of Trustees and is a founding member of the Law School's Center for Women in Law. She's won numerous awards for her leadership in advancing diversity and inclusion in the legal profession. Black Enterprise has also recognized Ms. Rogers as one of its 75 most powerful women in business in 2017 and 300 most powerful executives in corporate America in 2018. She's a magnificent lawyer and a great friend of the law school, and we're so excited to be welcoming her back for your special day. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
So thank you very, very much, Dean, for that exceptionally kind introduction. And hello to everyone. I want to thank Dean Farnsworth, Dean Chesney, the members of this great faculty, distinguished guests, family members, and most of all, the graduating class of 2022. You know, I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to say a few words on an occasion that represents, for many of you, I suspect, a potent mix of excitement, anxiety, pride, relief, and exhaustion. And at least I can tell you, when I was in those seats several years ago, that's the way that I felt. So in preparation for today, I spoke with a mentor of mine who's had the opportunity to address law students who graduated like you are today. And what she said is that the secret is to be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. So I'm really going to try to honor that and do my best. You know, I had a chance to walk around the campus this afternoon, and it really brought back some great memories. I deeply appreciate the experience of learning law here. You know, UT Law was a place where I learned the value of diversity, of thought, and began a career of standing up for certain truths, for refusing to accept constraints, for challenging convention, and being an agent of change. Now, looking back at where I've come from, it's an attitude that has really served me very well. I grew up in Beaumont, Texas. Many of you may know Beaumont, a small town that's close to the Louisiana border. And even though my siblings and I were raised in modest surroundings, we were taught to pursue our passions to the fullest, to fulfill our life's purpose. You know, my mother has been a lifelong inspiration. She suspended her own undergraduate studies to get married and have children. But Mama didn't quit pursuing her dreams. She returned to college, this time as a single parent, to obtain her undergraduate degree, and eventually she earned her master's degree and started her career as a school teacher. You know, to this day, I can still remember my mother sitting at the dining room table with books all around her, and it really instilled in me the importance of education, hard work, and perseverance. And the day that I graduated law school, I found my own way to honor her. I made the bold decision to buck the sunflower ceremony tradition and instead wore a cap and gown. That's right, you heard me, a cap and gown. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy to find one, and it was some hot sitting up in that cap and gown. But that's what Mama expected. That's what she wanted to see. And that's what I did. And I know many of you out here have fought very hard to make it to this moment and to make your families proud and your friends and your loved ones. And so I know that I sure did. But, you know, that wasn't hardly the most subversive thing that I did during my time at UT Law. In fact, as a 1L, I was a part of the first class at UT to boycott the law school for a day demanding diversity. Now, that's something students had done for years at some of the schools on the East Coast, but at that time, it was a shock to the system. And so, I'm going to stay true to myself and challenge convention again here today. I'm going to suggest, contrary to what you might think and contrary to what some of you and your family members thought that they were paying for, that you have not spent the last 3 years only training to be a lawyer, but rather to serve a much greater purpose. What you've really spent the last 3 years learning is how to make a difference in the world, how to think rigorously about the problems facing our society, how to untangle the logic of those problems, how to arrive at their solutions, and how to convey those solutions persuasively, to leave the world in a better place than how you found it. You know, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes: "To whom much is given, much is required." Now, over the last 3 years, you've also learned how to think about the principles, the values, the agreements, the laws, in short, that societies and people have created for organizing themselves and solving their problems, for coexisting. You also have learned to see the world through many different lenses. You know, I can vividly remember a philosophical disagreement with one of my con law professors who held a contrarian view that our country would have been better served if civil rights and integration had evolved organically, at its own pace, with its own timing. Now, I thought those views were outrageous, and I still do. But with the benefit of hindsight, I realized that he exposed me to critical thinking. He forced me to see and engage a view opposite to mine on an issue that I was emotionally invested in. Now, whether he intended to or not, he actually taught me how to find some modicum of common ground. He taught me how we could coexist, or as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg famously said, to disagree without being disagreeable. Now, you'll have many tough conversations in your careers, ones where you'll disagree passionately. And when you are in that moment, take another moment to remember. Seeking to understand different perspectives is truly a gift. It will help you come up with better solutions and better outcomes. So, you might make your difference in the world with an attorney in your title, working in the domain of law, perhaps a law firm, or in an in-house legal department like me, or courtroom, boardroom. You might even go to the judiciary. But many of you will apply your legal training and this new ability that you now have to make a difference in vitally other important ways, like public service, politics, or social activism. And your journey may not go as planned. Now, personally, I thought I was going to be America's next great trial lawyer, just like my television idol, Perry Mason. But instead, I went where the journey led me, just corporate America. So So no matter where your journey leads you, what you've learned here at the law school will make you better at it and better for it. And it will help you fill an urgent need. It's a need that arises from the dramatic changes we're seeing in the world. While you've been working towards your degree, you've also lived through an extraordinary 2+ years that has shaken and tested the foundations of governments, political institutions, and our public health infrastructure. Long-standing rights have now come up for debate. There has been a rise in hate crimes against people who look like me and other minorities. In a region of the world, in Europe, which we thought could never again be at war, is now suddenly in flames. So yes, you're graduating into a world of extraordinary challenges, but also incredible opportunities. But for people who have been trained to make a difference, who want to be in the thick of it and take on the work that is meaningful, you are graduating into an environment where you and your skills are desperately needed. These are times that call for transformative leaders. And that's what this law school and these times have uniquely prepared you to be. You have what it takes to stand for something, to fight for something, to make that difference. You know, Dean Farnsworth put it well when he told me once, "You will always be criticized for something. So you might as well just pick the thing that you're going to be criticized for. Make it count." You know, one of the most profound impacts on my career came during a leadership research project and an interview of Ken Frazier, a lawyer and mentor who is best known as the chairman and chief executive officer of the pharmaceutical giant Merck. Now, the tenure of a CEO can sometimes be short. And Ken told me, he said, "Sandra, if they're going to come for me, they're never going to find me sitting behind my desk." Ken began his career as a lawyer. He saved the life of a wrongfully convicted death row inmate before becoming a businessman. Now, when he became the CEO of Merck, he did so in the midst of a company crisis. One of his first acts after assessing the company's financials and business environment was to withdraw the earnings guidance, an audacious move to say the least. You know, he told me that in that moment, the Merck board knew that he stood for something and that he could be trusted to do the right thing. And Ken was rarely caught behind the desk because he was constantly out in the company, being with the people, working in his community, making a difference. Now, after retiring from Merck last year, Ken co-founded 110, an initiative that aims to provide opportunities for Black talent by hiring and promoting 1 million Black individuals who lack 4-year degrees. So Ken is still making a difference. Now, in my own career, one in which law and business have intersected, I have tried to live up to the example of lawyers like Ken. And so this brings me to another quote that I love. "Be a part of the change you want to see." This is also my personal D&I commitment. In my current roles, it's been a real honor to help foster more diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just within Toyota, but also beyond the 4 walls, particularly in the legal profession. For example, our law firm partnering program expands Toyota's own commitment to diversity and inclusion to our partner law firms. As part of the program, we make it clear that we need these firms to offer us more diverse teams because we expect the kind of outstanding legal advice, creative thinking, and innovative approaches that only comes from diversity of thought. We also offer a variety of resources to help member firms build on their existing D&I inclusion programs, and as a result, diversity among our outside counsel as well as the culture of diversity inside their firms have significantly improved. But in the wake of the social justice unrest of 2020, it became clear that there was even more immediate and urgent work to be done. I realized that my colleagues and I at Toyota's legal department could help advance the cause of social justice, even from inside a global corporation. So I challenged my legal team to come up with a plan of action. The result was an ambitious social justice pro bono program to support initiatives that make our legal and democratic systems more just and accessible for everyone. Now, one example is the Dallas Expungement Expo, where volunteer attorneys help eligible people file legal documents to expunge their criminal records in order to secure employment, including clients who had been arrested while participating in lawful social justice protests in Dallas in 2020. And currently, I'm working with one of our partner law firms to help Afghan women living in the U.S. gain asylum. So, like Ken Frazier, Toyota's legal team and I are determined not to be caught behind a desk. And I'm so grateful to Toyota for supporting our efforts. So, as for you, the graduating class of 2022, well, I envy you. There is so much important work to be done, so many problems to be solved, such transformational change that you will affect. So yes, you are justifiably proud of what you've accomplished here under extraordinary circumstances. And it is truly a time to excel and celebrate. But I urge you, as you leave the hallowed halls of UT Law School and go out into the world, never let them catch you behind a desk. I invite you to stand up for what matters to you and to use the tools you have acquired here to tackle the challenges the world faces. As suffragist Mary Church Terrell said, lifting as we climb. I encourage you to choose what it is people will be mad about you for. Let it be for doing the right thing, and let it be for making a difference. Thank you all very much. Congratulations, and hook 'em.